First of all, now that you are making a comic, I want to say thank you because I don't know if you've ever heard of the Gaston Literary Academy.
No.
Okay, I'm going to tell I've told this to authors that I'm a proud graduate of the Gaston Literary Academy. If you don't know,
Oh.
I'm going to play you our motto.
How can you read this? There's no pictures.
You got me.
So I appreciate coming up with pictures that go with the words. But in terms of a veiled legacy, can you walk us through your process for writing a comic? I guess from concept to the more so finished product. I know that we've got, Vampire Slayer that might serve as a template of sorts.
Mhm.
But what's your process been like for this particular comic?
Well, one thing I personally I call this One Foot in Darkness. I had a horror because the full title is like Vampire Slayer One Foot in Darkness. And I
Okay.
joke around, but I'm like kind of serious. I'm pretty sure that this publisher was a front for money laundering because
Oh,
I did not have an
oh,
editor. I did not have an
okay.
editor. And when I said I wanted to call it One Foot in Darkness, they wouldn't let me.
Uh,
They said they
really?
had another yeah, they said they had another title that, was too similar, so they wanted to put Vampire Slayer in front of it. I thought it sounded too corny,
Oh,
but
okay.
they did it anyway. So I was like, "Okay." So the quote unquote editor had it for about 9 months and then sent it back with basically just spell check, and I was like, you didn't even do appropriate spell check.
Nothing
There were
else?
no action, nothing else. So I had like a really, really bad
Oh,
experience, a horrible experience with editors.
that
So we've
sucks.
been lovingly referring to this version as first draft ever since.
Okay.
And I
Oh,
don't know if you
okay.
could tell, I don't know if you could tell when you read it, but this was always intended to be a comic book. It was always seen as a comic book. But
Okay.
had when I wrote this book, I had just had my third child, my first daughter, Emma. I was a stay-at-home mom, and I had just had this idea that felt like it was
Okay.
scratching at the back of my skull, and I just sat down and it all kind of
Okay.
fell out of my fingertips. And then I became a single mom and a single mom with 4 kids and had to put myself through cosmetology school and raise a bunch of kids. And that doesn't exactly translate into a good amount of time to sit and write books.
Mm,
So for 22 years, this world got put on the back burner. And
okay.
then a couple years ago, I ran into this guy online because of I'm doing YouTube now.
Yeah.
And he was an artist. And I had 2 copies of the book. I sent him one of my only copies of the book. And he was like, yeah, let's make this. And so I sent him some character descriptions. And he's like, yeah, I love it. I'll get back to you. And then every week I would send him an email like, hey, what's going on? He's like, I got some sketches. I'm going to send them to you. And then eventually I didn't hear anything back from the guy. Like I wrote a whole script, sent it to him, never heard anything back from this guy. And I'd never written a comic book script before. I was just kind of
Oh, okay.
guessing, to be perfectly honest with you. I just kind of guessed based on screenwriting. I took screenwriting and translated it into panels. Um,
Okay.
so this guy ghosted me. And a year goes by, and I was just like, you know what? Maybe this is just God's plan. You know what? It's fine.
Okay.
I'll just keep with YouTube. So then I did Dreaming Tabitha's stream. And by the
Okay.
way, I used Celtics. Um, I don't
Okay.
know if any of you have ever heard of Celtics. It's a screenwriting program. You can use a free version. It has
Okay.
paid tiers and stuff, but it's very helpful for, I would say, more so for screenwriting. It doesn't really have an option for
Oh,
comic book writing, but you can
okay.
change things here and there. It's very, very handy, especially if you have no idea what you're doing, like I did. So I did Art Party with Dreaming Tabitha, and wouldn't you know, she puts me on this. the stream with Ripaverse people. And there
Oh,
was
okay, yeah.
Caro Brown, Igor, and Dreaded Dinosaur. And I was like, wow, these are all comic book people. Ooh. And so, of course, I, being my autistic self, was like, I wrote a comic book script, and I had an artist, and he ghosted me for like a year. And I'm like, oh God, I hate it when that happens. That's so awful. And like, yeah, that's a bummer. So the next day, Caro reached out and she said, hey man, thanks for being so nice. And I was like, well, I mean, because we had hit it off like immediately, like eerily well. And like pretty sure we're the same person. We don't know how that's happened, but you know, what's science? So
Okay.
we just got to talking, and she said, send me your script for reals. And she's like,
Oh,
yeah, send me your script. So I sent it to her. We met, and she said, first of all, I have to say, for someone who claims to have absolutely no idea what they're doing, you are off to a hell of a good start. And I was,
nice.
I wrote it down, circled it, underlined it, put a bunch of little exclamation points by it. Because I was like, um, and she gave me some amazing suggestions.
Okay.
She taught me how to format it properly. I mean, it took like 1 hour long meeting, and the next week or so, I did rewrites, changed some things around, sent it back to her, and she was like, Caro is amazing. Caro is one bad hombre. Let me tell you something. She is one of the best people on planet Earth. So I highly recommend, because I'm telling you, like I said, up until I met Caro, I thought editor
Mhm.
was like the scariest thing ever. I thought editor was like someone who did not care about you or your vision, that they would just erase things, that I saw them more of like a studio executive who did
Okay.
spell check. You know what I'm
Ah,
saying?
okay, that makes more sense.
Right. So, but with Caro, a good editor, what I learned is that you
Mhm.
need a good editor. You need someone
Okay.
who understands how your creative brain works, so
Right.
that they not only can kind of direct you, because let me tell you, you've known me for 3 or 4 years now, okay?
Right. Right.
You are well aware I am a squirrel. I am all over the place,
Just a little
and
bit.
a little bit. And my show is no different, and my creative process is no different either. I have dry erase boards everywhere. I have multiple notebooks. Like this is just sitting right
Oh yeah.
here. I have notebooks,
Oh, I
and
live that
there's
life too. That's yeah.
two more, two there's two more right here. This
Yeah.
is just right here. I have notebooks all over the place. And a good editor will not only kind of help you direct that energy,
Mhm.
but also once they understand how the machine of your creative brain works,
Right.
they're going to be able to help it run more efficiently and
Right.
get the best out of it. And that's what Caro has done. You think this is good, bro?
Right.
That's nothing. That is nothing compared to Veld Legacy Book 1 Midwest Gothic. It's absolutely nothing.
Okay.
She took a 5
Okay.
and just kind of like pressed the right buttons in my brain. All she did was ask me questions. Really,
Oh.
except for
Oh.
one thing. Except for
Okay.
one thing. Because this was written in 2004. So the
Correct.
guys
Yes.
that show up at the door in this book are just a couple of douches in polo shirts.
And that
Of course,
was yeah. Yeah.
right. So it wouldn't be that far fetched to think that these guys didn't have cell phones on them
Correct.
in 2004. But these days, why don't they have a phone? Why do they need to use the phone? Why are they there? So Caro said, maybe they're Amish. And I was like,
That
hold
makes
on.
sense. Okay.
That's fantastic. And have you ever heard of an Amish vampire before? No, you have not. So,
Not.
other than
That's
that,
that's the concept. Okay.
So other than that, she'd ask me questions, and she would challenge me to push my creative envelope even farther, like push
Okay.
it even more. And that was the most amazing experience for me so far throughout creating this. What we've done is taken that one spot, the one part of the book you read where you're like, I got to put this down for a minute. This
Yes.
this girly girl who does makeup on YouTube just really grossed me out, and I didn't see that coming.
Yes.
We took that couple of pages and turned it into a 42-page comic book.
Oh wow. Oh
That's
wow.
just book one.
That's wow. So book one's that entire exchange.
That entire
Oh,
exchange.
wow.
There's a lot more going on. It goes so much
Okay.
deeper. And so the first step was getting the script just right, and not just, getting it just right, but maintaining my voice,
Okay.
bringing myself out of myself, and being confident with it.
Oh yeah.
I had been
Okay.
told for so long that, yeah, you're all right, it kind of kick dog kind of syndrome, and
Right.
really believed that, well, if it's not happening, then this is probably just God's will, and that's, if that's his will, that's fine. And Caro
Right.
was like, no, I'm not having it. You are good at this, and I'm just gonna keep kicking your ass until you listen to me. So that was that first step, was really, really discovering how to just let it out and
Right.
be okay with that, and get it to that point to where I felt not just comfortable with it, but like, I don't give a shit what anybody says. Like, I love this. And I think that was the most important part, that you got to write it to where, because that was something she would ask a lot. Like, if you saw this, if you read this, would you buy it? Would you like it? And I was like,
Right.
hell
Yeah.
yeah. Now we're at the point where I am. Oh God, I love you, Cosmortal Comics. What's up, buddy? Um, Now we're at the point where I'm collaborating with the artist Evan Scale. He was the artist on Caro's latest comic, Dirty Deeds, over at Rippaverse.
Oh, no. Oh, Dirty Deeds. Yeah. I heard about that one.
Hey, for five. And he's really good. Really good. And it's so awesome that the artist for my Greek mythological vampires happens to be Greek. So I was like, shut your face.
You did.
This is perfect.
You did.
So getting to talk and meet with my artist, and that's been kind of an eye-opener tour too. Really, it's kind of like that conversation with your editor. You really have to get to know this person. They really have to know what you're feeling and thinking when you've
Right.
written this panel here. Like, they want to know more than just what you've written in this panel. They want to know this character's motivation. You need to think of it more as, you're not just the writer of this, you're the director too. And you need to think of your
Right.
artist as, hey, Roman, oh my God, I haven't seen him in so long. Pardon me. You have to think of your artist as kind of the actor. They are creating your actors. So they really need to know, like,
Yeah,
what
you
is
did.
yeah, I need to know everything about this character.